Holy shit, it's finally here. Today, we got the Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City trailer for the new film coming out November 24th. There's been little to no publicity for the film, aside from some recent set photos. As I've stated in previous videos covering the film, it will be an amalgamation of the first two games, partly following Chris and the STARS Alpha team as they investigate the mansion in the Arklay Mountains, with Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Wesker, and some others. And then the other part is from the second game, with Leon Kennedy and Chris's sister Claire investigating the police department. Let's watch the trailer, and then I'll break it down for you.
Every story has a beginning. Discover the origin of evil.
Why are you back here, Claire? Your conspiracies weren't true when we were kids. They're not true now.
We need to expose Umbrella.
Watch this.
I'm afraid, Claire. I'm afraid of what they're gonna do to this town. You see, Umbrella, they had an incident. I'm talking Chernobyl, if you know what I mean. People are getting sick. You gotta help us, Claire. Let the world know what's really going on.
We have to contain this.
Trying to get up that great big hill of hope
Shall we go?
for a destination. Into a crisis, times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling
What were Umbrella doing here?
This is where they're experimenting on him.
a little peculiar.
We should split up.
Into a wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream for the top of my lungs. What's going on?
What the?
And I say,
We gotta get out of here.
We're gonna take Umbrella down.
In part 1, Umbrella is a pharmaceutical company that behind closed doors does viral weapon research and unethical biological experiments using the T-virus, which is a virus derived from a flower in Africa that was supposed to make people superhuman, but it just turned them into zombies instead. The company is based out of Raccoon City, but has an underground lab in the mountains next to the town, which uses a mansion as an access point. Led by Captain Wesker, Chris, Jill, and the other STARS Alpha team head to the mansion after the Bravo team goes missing, following an investigation in the area. Once they get into the mansion, shit goes south real quick. In part 2, Chris's sister Claire comes to town looking for him, but finds Leon Kennedy instead, a rookie cop also arriving in town. Together they head to the police station for answers, only to uncover more secrets hidden by Umbrella. So it starts off with Claire entering Raccoon City. Then we see who could possibly be Hunk. Now Hunk was the leader of a special ops team called the Umbrella Security Service. His team was tasked with obtaining the G-Virus from William Birkin. What's the G-Virus? William who? Well, hold on, we'll get to all that. So then we hear Chris asking Claire why she came back. This could retcon the original reason for her coming to town, and it seems now that maybe they grew up there, or she just heard conspiracy theories as a kid about Umbrella that Claire wants to expose. Chris doesn't really seem to believe it though. Then Claire finds a tape of Ben Bertolucci telling her about the T-virus outbreak that happened and how it spread into Raccoon City. In the game, Ben was a reporter that came to town to expose Umbrella and prove that Police Chief Brian Irons was secretly on Umbrella's payroll. Which is why, when shit went south in town, and when Chris and Jill went to the press about what happened at the mansion, Chief Irons had their credibility completely thrown out the window. Then we see an iconic shot of the infected truck driver crashing the semi in front of the RPD, exactly like the opening of the second game. The explosion from the crash is what separated Leon and Claire and gave you two different scenarios to play through. Cut to a shot of Chief Irons in the basement of the RPD, getting ambushed by a Cerberus. Now for all you new Resident Evil fans, Cerberus is Umbrella's code word for a dog infected with the T-Virus. Or, I guess you could just say zombie dog. Whatever. In the second game, Chief Irons played a pivotal role as one of the game's antagonists as he kidnapped Sherry, the daughter of William Birkin, who was just wandering around the station aimlessly. Claire ends up saving her during her playthrough. So, why did William just let his daughter roam around? I mean, I don't know, you tell me. Again with this William Birkin guy though, trust me, we're gonna get there, just hang on. Then we see Leon putting on his classic outfit. Well, when I say classic, maybe as far back as 2019 with the RE2 remake, I didn't think they would dress him like this. I mean, come on. Then we see the Alpha team arriving at the mansion. And hey, it's Birkin. I think this is either Sherry, or it could be Lisa Trevor. I'll explain Lisa Trevor shortly. Okay, so, here we go, William Birkin. He was a scientist for Umbrella who took over the research of the T-Virus after he and Wesker killed off one of Umbrella's co-founders, James Marcus. Wesker and Birkin were both protégés of James Marcus and were ordered to kill him by Umbrella. Of course, Wesker was playing both sides, as he was also the captain of the Alpha team, and he really only brought the STARS team to the mansion to test Umbrella's latest bioweapons. Oops, spoiler alert. Then, we see archival footage of Birkin experimenting on Lisa Trevor. Okay, so Lisa Trevor is the daughter of an architect named George Trevor, who was hired by Umbrella to build the mansion. Shortly after its construction was finished, Umbrella had him killed. Well, not exactly. I mean, they turned him into a zombie. And then, they kidnapped his daughter and experimented on her using the T-Virus. But Lisa didn't become a zombie like everybody else. Her body bonded with the virus on a cellular level and made her something more. Here's a file on her saying that they injected her with the T-Virus and also the NE-alpha parasite. This parasite was used to control certain bioweapons, namely the Nemesis, which, that's just a story for another day. Anyway, as I said, her bonding with the T-Virus made her virtually indestructible, as she could just regenerate lost or damaged tissue. Instead of the parasite attaching to her nervous system and controlling her, her body literally just absorbed it. And after that, with her regenerative ability, her DNA became the basis for a new virus called the G-Virus, one that William Birkin would come to know pretty well. So finally we see the Alpha team enter the mansion, and it's legit right out of the game. Although this helicopter crashing through the wall is like a new thing, that never really happened. Ah, another iconic shot. In the first game, your very first encounter with a zombie was in a hallway just past the dining room. The zombie was eating a member of the Bravo team and did the same exact head turn. So this itchy tasty written on the mirror in blood is a callback to one of the diaries found in Part 1. All throughout any Resident Evil game, you constantly come across diaries and logs from various people. In this case, it's one of the scientists who are slowly turning into a zombie. As their intelligence slips away and their hunger for flesh increases, this is the last thing that they write. Then we get a nice little montage of the RPD getting breached and them saying they need to escape, with Claire vowing to take down Umbrella. And then, guys, here it is. I cannot believe it. William Birkin and his G3 stage. Okay, so the story here is that the soldier hunk that I mentioned before was tasked with taking the G-Virus from William Birkin after Birkin was secretly trying to profit off it by selling it on the black market. When Hunk's team ambushed Birkin, he accidentally gets shot to death, and with his dying breath, Birkin injects the G-Virus into himself. This causes his body to mutate rapidly, and he goes after Hunk's team, pretty much killing them all except for Hunk. Over the course of the second game, you encounter Birkin a few times throughout his mutation, and gradually see his humanity fade away. By the time he hits this stage, though, it's like final battle time. And finally, the most iconic shot from the second game, the liquor dropping down on Leon. When Leon's first starting to walk around the RPD, he comes to a hallway with officers that have been shredded apart. Then, he gets ambushed by a liquor that drops on him from the ceiling. A liquor is pretty much an advanced zombie called a Crimson Head that's stronger and faster, that has been surgically altered. Well, there you have it, guys. And do I need to remind you of the song they chose? I mean, it really reminds me of that He-Man video. Like, of all the songs you could have picked. But, whatever. Also, I'm really curious as to see if they do anything with Nemesis, or if they're saving him for a sequel. And what about Mr. X? All throughout the second game, Umbrella releases the Tyrant, which is just another bioweapon, to hunt down Leon and Claire as they walk around the RPD. For that matter, where's the Tyrant for the first game? So, one of the main antagonists for Part 1 was one of the original Tyrants. And I don't know if he's just not in the trailer, or if they're just not doing that and they're doing Lisa Trevor. It's hard to say. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City comes out November 24th. And if you need to know anything else about the series, check out my other Resident Evil videos. Or just wait until November 1st, because I'll be covering Resident Evil all month long. I'll see you then.